As you can see, Gertrude is healthy and happy. You can just, if you look closely, you can just barely see.
Elon Musk has made headlines with his company Neuralink and their much-hyped brain implant that promises countless miracles. Let's explore about Neuralink, the brains behind the microchip and everything in between. In today's video, we'll talk about 10 things about Neuralink that you might not be aware of. If you haven't subscribed yet, you're missing out on some fantastic tech videos. Number 1. What is it and what can it do? Neuralink is a neurotechnology company that was founded in 2016 by Elon Musk. Their goal is to develop implantable brain-machine interfaces. These concepts' thought process was that the brain could be interpreted and manipulated in real time using technology. The device is a microcomputer chip implanted into the brain on a network of thousands of ultra-thin electrode wires. These wires pick up the signals the brain emits and translates them into motor controls. Initially, the person would control a smartphone by simply using their mind, but the long-term goal is much bigger than just operating a mobile phone, and we're about to find out. Number 2. Neuralink brain chip is envisioned to cure anything. It seems scary having a chip drilled into your brain to operate your mobile phone. What else can this brain chip achieve? Neuralink is said to cure autism, blindness, paralysis, depression, memory loss, anxiety, brain damage, hearing loss, addiction, and extreme pain. The Neuralink technology goes beyond that with time. We could all be superhumans. Our visions would be phenomenal, we'd have telepathic powers, and would be able to listen to music right inside of our heads. Humans would communicate with each other without uttering a single word, and the communication would be lightning fast.
So,
And this sounds good on paper, but let's get reversed back to the drilling into our brain a bit. Number 3. Neuralink brain chip can destroy surrounding cells when implanted. Some scientists believe that during the implantation process, surrounding cells could be destroyed. Psychologist Susan Snyder feels it's not a good idea to go about inserting technology right into our brains. She argued it could be suicide for the human mind and that the worry with a more general merger with AI in the more radical sense that Musk envisions is the human brain is diminished or destroyed. Many people agree with her, but if there are no concerns about the microchip's actual insertion, could humans be more intelligent than robots? Let's find out. Number 4. The chip could make us smarter than robots. Stephen Hawking once said AI is likely to either be the best or worst thing to happen to humanity. Where would you fit the Neuralink microchip into? The best or worst thing to happen is a speculation that the Neuralink microchip could make humans smarter than robots, which many are admiring, especially with the fear that robots will eventually take over our jobs. We see it in so many industries. Let's lean on Musk's thoughts about this. He voiced concerns that humans could end up as house pets to AI unless we manage to connect our brains to computers. He continues to add that Neuralink would allow humans to compete with AI. I think we'll probably see a closer merger of biological intelligence and digital intelligence, says Musk.
Which is dilated to 8 millimeters, and then the chip is placed through that.
Number 5. The Neuralink chip gives us much to think about. Can you imagine something being able to read your mind? A crazy notion, right? This microchip is believed to be able to transmit our thoughts from one user to another. Musk showed off the new technology in 2020, and while doing so, touched on the idea of consensual telepathy, which means that two people could communicate through their thoughts. It doesn't mean that everyone has free access to your thought process, but with hackers around, it's only a matter of time before that's a possibility. If you're filling your brain with only good thoughts and educational material, then you've got no problem. Here's how you can retain all that educational material. Number 6. With time, you could recall a story with 100 accuracy. Think of being able to read an article or study for an exam and recall everything you read. With a Neuralink microchip, that dream could turn into reality. The microchip could make humans super smart by having an excellent memory. However, the downside to that is it might be challenging to switch your brain off. Another factor to consider is that tech could malfunction to experience wear and tear and stop working. If you want the good like anything, you need to accept the bad too. Professor Jan LeCun at NYU says that our intelligence makes us human, and AI is an extension of that quality.
Allows for minimal reaction of the brain tissue to our device to increase the lifetime.
Number 7. Musk has underestimated the length of time it would take to work. Crowds have been razzle-dazzled with this exciting new concept. Neuralink is hoping to begin trials and promised a working demo by that stage. That being said, it's still going to be an extensive process. Safety, efficacy, and years of testing will need to take place, as there's no room for error. Scientists believe that Musk is completely miscalculating the time it will take to get this off the ground. Words like fantasyland and science fiction have been thrown around, but they haven't heard the wise words of Nelson Mandela: "It always seems impossible until it's done."
Of the electrodes being inserted in the brain. And if you look closely, you will see that
Number 8. Ethical dilemmas. With a microchip in your mind, security, privacy, political, and legal issues all come into play. There's a fear about this kind of technology. Many states in the US have issued laws stating it's not compulsory to have any form of microchip inserted into the body. For example, Michigan has an official bill saying that employers may not force their staff to accept microchip implants of any kind. So where does that leave the Neuralink? Microchip brain technology has the ability to change collective behaviors. It can convert an entire group of thinking to another, disturb social norms, and create insanity. Brain hacking could happen, and we could fight thought processes being controlled by an unknown. Could the chip alter our personality? Could it change our values or our beliefs? Could other syndromes begin because of the new addition to our brain? And could there be a mental impact on the actual surgery to implant the chip? Who owns the microchip? Sure you do, if you paid for it, but what about the data? Who can access the inside of your brain? And where does the data go when you die? There were many unanswered questions that need clarity before anyone will volunteer to have a chip inserted into their skulls.
So what we have in pen number 1 is Joyce, and she does not have an implant.
Number 9. The chip would be inserted with something similar to a sewing machine. The microchip is installed by drilling a hole into the skull, inserting the chip, and securing the wires. It's a high-risk surgery, and even Musk admits the procedure is complex and not suited for human hands. This robot will create a 2mm incision, which will be stretched into 8mm. The microchip is then inserted using a microscope and needles so small you can barely see them. The robot is especially designed not to touch any veins or arteries, and the whole process should take no more than 2 hours. The surgery is claimed to be as safe and painless as laser eye surgery. Number 10. The cost of the microchip. Like any new advancement, the initial costs are always high. When questioned about the price of a microchip, Musk was vague and reiterated initial statements. He felt that initially, it would cost a few $100,000, which would include surgery. Over time, he hoped the price would be on par with lasers or device electronics. This leads us to the day question. Would you consider getting a microchip put into your brain? Knowing the pros and cons? Let us know in the comments. Hit the subscribe button for more videos, and as always, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. See you in the next video.